There you go.
No, leave it this way. On us.
Oh, no, it's stuck. Oh.
Okay. So how do you see the? Where do you see
The comments?
the chat?
Like, so.
Okay.
No, it should be like, there's one person in. You're gonna see it.
Let me get all these pictures real quick.
We have evidence. We have his body camera. What's more than his body camera? This is Virginia. This is Virginia. But we are in DC in front of the Department of Justice. Justice Department.
It's processing.
Yeah. I don't know, earlier it was like 20. I think turned it off.
Just for you, sir.
Yeah, why are you sending those?
We're going to be talking about what you're doing
No.
to Mustafa Al-Jazari.
You're supposed to be on the
Now
other
that we
side
have
of
the
the
body
camera.
cams, what you've
do you
been
mean?
doing to Mustafa, what you're going to do going forward to Mustafa, literally podcast set up for you, sir. Got 2 mics, 2 chairs, and we're going to be here every day here in D.C. in front of the Department of Justice. Judge Weimer, look forward to having this conversation with you, sir. We're going to be talking about the body cams. We're talking about what you've been doing to Mustafa. And the community is watching, sir. Look forward to these conversations. Judge Weimer, Judge Weimer, Judge Weimer. We're out here, sir, right in front of the Department of Justice. Two chairs, and we're going to be here every day here in D.C. in front of the Department of Justice. Judge Weimer, look forward to having this conversation with you, sir. We're going to be having this conversation with you, sir. We're going to be with you, sir. We're going to be talking about the body cams. We're going to be talking about what you've been doing to stuff. And the community is watching, sir. Look forward to these conversations. Look forward to these conversations. Conversation with you, sir. Look forward in D.C. in front of the Department of Justice. Judge Weimer, look forward to having this conversation with you, sir. Judge Weimer, Judge Weimer, Judge Weimer. We're out here, sir, right in front of the Department of Justice. Judge Weimer, Judge Weimer. Judge Weimer, look forward to having this conversation with you, sir. Judge Weimer, Judge Weimer, Judge Weimer. We're out here, sir.
step down real quick out of here.
was here somewhere.
Agent driver.
Agent driver, like he's my buddy.
Agent driver.
Huh?
Hello. Agent driver. Agent driver. Driver.
I just want to post it.
Right here? Yeah, we're gonna sit with you. This is the entrance. You know what I mean? Like next time you're gonna they might do a wire post. They get like, what is this all about? And then when they'll ask somebody like anything else what this is all about, they're gonna be like, what's up? It's like what the service is like. You know what I mean?
I mean, this is it.
People who I know who are like not offering jobs, and you're like, oh, I want like 3 months off, and all of a sudden it's like they get so much pressure.
Yeah, I'm supposed to play. You gonna record it?
You want this to record it? Put it in a good shot.
Yeah.
So my next year I think that's one. Doesn't matter. That's one. Hey, Ben, that's like. Ben, that's like. Oh, God, they jumped on my phone.
Yeah, mom, let's say it. You gotta say it.
Yeah,
Like, you're supposed to just hold the sign.
how much is it?
Agent Weimer. Weimer, Agent Weimer. Good Weimer. How are you, sir? Agent Weimer. Agent Weimer. Weimer, Agent Weimer. Good Weimer. How are you, sir? How are you? Hello, hello, hello. Agent Weimer. I'm currently out here. Getting ready to set up a podcast. Fire in front of me.
What you got going on, sir?
I'm here to get my card.
Okay, perfect. You find your parking spot and you go down the Constitution. You see also like me, come in. I can't tell you where to park, but park around the area. You're not gonna be long. So you should be good. All right.
Agent Weimer. Weimer, Agent Weimer. How are you, sir? Hello, hello, hello. Agent Weimer. Agent Weimer. Weimer, Agent Weimer. Good Weimer. How are you, sir? How are you? Hello, hello, hello. Agent Weimer. I'm currently out here. Getting ready to set up a podcast.
How you doing, Booby? Booby. Let's see who's in here. Christina. Lawrence. Lawrence. Rose. Rachel. Blue Skies. Trisha. Big Texas. And Booby. How you guys doing? How's life treating you? Kurdish King, Jennifer, welcome in. Welcome, welcome. So, we're here at the Department of Justice. User 5824 1983 071. Angie, how you guys doing? Thank you for liking the live. So we're here at the Department of Justice in Washington, D.C. We are peacefully protesting the inhumane treatment of inmates.
Peacefully? You said peacefully?
Peacefully.
I'm out here being a menace. I'm like the Tasmanian devil or Principal.
Okay, he's peacefully being a menace.
I'm peacefully. Good, you better look camera. Wait.
Peacefully being a menace.
Peacefully out here being a Tasmanian devil. Me and my body cams. Got body cams, I got doc cams, I got recording. I'm putting Judge Weimer on the spot.
We're asking the Justice Department to do their job.
Justice Department. We're asking the FBI. I mean, we're right here, right in front of the FBI building, right in front of the Department of Justice. I mean, you know, it's really interesting. 1 minute you're in a, I'm out here.
Yeah,
okay,
we're out here.
I'm out here, and I'm not just asking for accountability. I'm demanding accountability. I mean, hey, I've got body cams, and apparently Judge Weimer is already feeling the heat. Come rolling the ass. It's already feeling
Here?
the heat.
Oh, I have it on my.
What happened? Body cams? What do you want? Works? I got you. It's like checking into Subway. I got all of it. What do you want? Okay? Like, this is a private question, MR. Okay? Right. It's cold. It's freezing. Beautiful jacket. Layered up. We're about to start a podcast. Right here. That's for Judge Weimer. Look behind me. I got 2 mics, I got 2 chairs, I got a table, right in front of the Justice Department, right in front of the FBI building. And I'm here with body cams that apparently Judge Weimer sealed to protect Commonwealth Amy Ashford, who's lying about MUSTAFA.
Listen, we're just asking for the government of Prince William County to follow the law. That's all we're asking.
Fuck all that bullshit. I'm demanding that all these motherfuckers go to jail.
Yeah.
Okay? That's exactly what I'm asking.
Okay, when they follow.
The Department of Justice, I'm asking the FBI, now that I've got the body cams, I'm asking these motherfuckers to go to jail. Okay?
Exactly.
It's time to go to jail. Alright? It's been 2 years, but now I've got police body cams. I've got the evidence that showed this judge is corrupt and is lying about my brother.
Just because you hold a badge.
Oh, look at what we have here. Oh, look. Oh, hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Welcome
Department
to
of Justice.
Welcome to work.
Welcome to work. Oh, wait. They get to see. my sign that I'm holding for my brother, Mustafa Al-Jazari. Documents are no longer sealed, so the Department of Justice get to see and investigate what they're doing to my brother. Judge Weimer, sir, the Department of Justice, the FBI.
You can't hide you can't hide behind Amy Ashworth anymore.
Can't hide behind Amy Ashworth and the State Department. No more, sir. This community is watching what you're doing to Mustafa. Now that we have the body cam.
Please. You can watch agent. Somebody.
Oh, look, someone's coming out to talk to us. Oh, here we go. Only a matter of time before this Department of Justice rips right through the asshole of the Justice Department and Commonwealth Amy Ashford by law.
And you know that's all we're asking for is a conversation. We're asking for a conversation. Your phone needs We're asking for a conversation, okay, about the facts that are in Mustafa's case, the fact that he was beat up by criminal officers. We have videos of it. The fact that police officers not only lied on body camera, but they've actually lied on the stand. You have Chad Mason, Officer Chad Mason, who sat on the stand just a month ago, sat on the stand, swore an oath to tell the truth, and then he lied. Okay, how do we know he lied? It's because now we've unsealed the body cam that shows he lied on the stand to a judge, he lied to the community, and we're demanding accountability. Okay, when you lie as an officer, we're not going to wait for trial for you to lie again. No, we're demanding that you get held accountable now. Just because Amy Ashworth wants to cover up for her office, we're here to tell you that you can no longer hide behind your lies, okay? When you lie on the stand, and we have videos of the complete opposite of what you said on the stand, we're demanding accountability. You can no longer lie about Mustafa now that the body cams are out, okay? Now that the body cams are out, you can no longer manufacture your own probable cause. Okay, we understand how probable cause works. But when the probable cause is fake, when it's falsified and you have evidence of it, you no longer have a reason to hold this man and deprive him of his liberty. You no longer can. Hey, Amar, I don't know what happened to your thing. It just went out. Live access removed. Let me see. Appeal.
Why?
Sexual exploitation. Hold on, listen.
You can appeal.
If you believe. Whatever. Look, it's still under. Whatever. We got like 20 lives, so no worries. Look, we're still live on YouTube, so it looks like TikTok wants to censor what you say, but. Whatever. Hey, can you make a post that you're live on YouTube, so that whoever's joining, yeah. Look, we know how this works. You've got TikTok that likes to censor people. You've got trolls that like to put out fake reports. And they think they're going to stop us from broadcasting live. You can go to YouTube, free Mustafa Al-Jazari. We're broadcasting live there. There's other TikTok accounts that we're going to go live from. So we're going to be here. Regardless, we're going to be here. We're going to continue to be here at the Department of Justice. And we're demanding accountability. Okay? We're demanding accountability. Look, we know how this works, okay? You've got trolls, you've got TikTok that likes to censor certain words, but we're here at the Department of Justice. We're going to continue to be here, and we're going to demand accountability, okay? We're going to demand that Prince William County follows the law. The point of this post is to let you know that if you don't see Amar's live, if you don't see my live broadcasting from TikTok, you can go on YouTube, free Mustafa Al-Jazari, free Mustafa, M-U-S-T-A-F-A, Al-Jazari, A-L-J-A-Z-A-I-R-I, on YouTube. We're broadcasting live. If you're in the area, come on out and support us, okay? We're demanding justice for the inhumane treatment of human beings in Prince William County. Prince William County, Virginia. We're demanding justice. Look, we know how this works, okay? You've got trolls, you've got TikTok that likes to censor certain words, but we're here at the Department of Justice. We're going to continue to be here, and we're going to demand accountability, okay? We're going to demand that Prince William County follows. Let me see. Oh, maybe because I said he was driving from one cell to the next.
Where's the other tripod? I need one tripod, one here and one there.
Maybe we should move it a little like out of the way.
It's good. I need this one.
I made a post on your account.
Here, hold this. Just a second.
Okay, now you got 7 people in here.
It's not bad. YouTube's
What?
not bad. That TikTok not bad.
No. Well, whatever. Whoever's there, they're gonna come here. I mean, here you can say whatever you want, really, and you're not really gonna get censored. Anyways, this conversation that we're about to have is gonna be recorded. It's gonna be broadcasted. It's gonna be live. It's gonna be a deep conversation of what Prince William County is doing to its citizens and what they think they're going to get away with. I'm not going to lie. It's freezing. It's cold. It's freezing. But, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You do what you got to do. I mean, these people that wake up early in the morning, they come here to work. They're not, what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. They're not something. Exactly. They're not playing around. Like, you see all these guards, you see all this security. These people are not playing around. They're not playing around. okay, for Prince William County Jail, Glen Hill, to think he can just trespass us whenever he feels. They think they can just beat up Mustafa whenever they feel. Okay, they think they can lie whenever they want. They can lie on the stand. They can falsify reports, falsify statements, tamper with witnesses. It's not okay. And I tell you, these people, they support what we do. This country supports people standing up for their rights.
I mean, this is going to be a really nice podcast.
I'm gonna put this here for now. Did my video? I think my video transferred.
I mean, you're sitting in front of the camera, man. Like, I'm trying to, like,
Yeah, let me get rid of this. You don't need this, right? You don't need this, right?
No. Not yet. Not yet. I'm just setting the angle. Okay, this is good, right? These are good angles, right? Huh? Right?
she did with my son, what she did with this family for 20 months, she tortured my family. She tortured us. Okay? By doing this, abducting my son, Mustafa al-Jazari. Okay? We will not be quiet. We are here. We have cases inside this building, and we need answers. Okay? We need answers. It's so cold, but I am here, even if it's cold. Okay? And I am diabetic. My diabetes is very bad. My condition is very bad. Last time my doctor called me, you shouldn't be here. After you went up, you should be in emergency. But it's okay. I said, okay, I will not go. Take care of myself.
Back.
By standing here, bringing justice for my son, that's nothing else. Nothing else. Yep. Yep. Anything happened.
Hey, whenever you're ready.
Anything happened to me, Amy Ashford is responsible. Amy Ashford is responsible. Prince William County, Commonwealth, she is responsible. If anything happened to her, I am telling her, okay, she is responsible because I have health problems and is standing here looking for justice for my son's family. I will continue fighting.
Christmas been December 2nd. They moved it to March.
All these people in this department, okay, we are standing here. Hopefully someone rides, comes and look what's going on. For how long? How many innocent, how many innocent people? She did same. She did same thing. Yeah. How many this investigator like accuse and abuse before Mustafa? How many? How many? Yeah. Uh-huh. the evidence. They should come and see the evidence we have. My son should be released. Okay? And they should be held accountable. Prince William County should be held accountable. My son Mustafa should be released by now. Okay? We saw how Baba Shiham tampered with the witness, tampered with everything. Okay? What is justice? What is justice? Okay? What is justice? Yeah? Uh-huh. Yep. You see? Justice for my son. Justice for my son Mustafa Al-Zaid. Justice for my son Mustafa Al-Zaid. For Mustafa Al-Zaid. When Mustafa court tomorrow. Tomorrow Friday.
These my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. To set up the trial date. Looks like. Yeah. Yeah. They bring whatever we have since we saw everything. They bring Mustafa. They should go bring Mustafa to the court and release him. He's still a player. He's still a player. Agnieszko is still a player. He's gonna lose. He's gonna lose for future. Sure. He's gonna lose for future.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Can't have anything past the sidewalk. You can't
Past the
block the
sidewalk.
sidewalk. Yeah.
So right here is good.
It can't
Oh,
be.
that-
It can't be past there.
I got you. Like, yes, sir.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Thank you.
Do you wanna know what's going on? While we are here?
Y'all talked to some of my coworkers when y'all came out here last time.
You remember? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So we have days here this side. Now we have the evidence. My son is innocent. And
Oh, is
my
that
son
one necessary? Like, don't block the
Prince
sidewalk.
William
Oh, this is
County.
for the walking.
Bill
No.
67 for 21.
Leave the sidewalk open.
Officer,
I mean, what is the sign? Like, why is there a sign on the tripod? That's why they break.
we got the one camera from that location. And he shows everything. How he falsified my son before, how he hit. My son had that camera in his car. Okay, how he hit the camera, how he muted the audio. We have everything. How he tampered with the witness.
So this one got the two. Yeah.
And he saw. He said, my son Mustafa Al-Jazair, my son, he said it, my son is innocent. He thought no one is going to see his body camera, but thank God we have the body camera. Now my son is
Which one is
innocent.
live? This one?
Shouldn't they release him?
This one is live.
Oh, this one's live? Yeah.
So one camera angle is here.
I have got the problem. I'm his mother.
I don't know.
I have got the problem.
Yeah, yeah.
I was protesting in front of the county office every day. I slept. It was hot.
You get it,
It was raining.
Yeah.
I slept in front of her office. She didn't care. She didn't care. She's the one who is covering up for her office. So we are here. We need justice. I'm in the United States. I'm not in third world country. I I came here to save my kids. That's why I am here. Otherwise, I will go anywhere. I came to the United States. I'm a U.S. citizen. I need my life. For 20 months, they took my son, abducted him, was falsified before. And he's sitting in
this is a good
solitary
angle.
confinement in a
Yeah,
protective
this is
custody
good,
for
right?
20 months. Who accepts this? And
You
they
have this.
sexually abuse him. They beat him inside the jail. And God gave
Then you
us,
got that. You
God
got
gave
this.
us from inside.
Then you got
They
the
beat
mic
him.
right here.
Who accepts this? I need
Right.
justice.
This is
I
perfect.
need justice. I am here. Today I am here. Tomorrow I will be in front of the White House. I will expose this woman, Amy Ashford, the Commonwealth, to the whole world. Okay, this is my son. I have health problem. You know, I am diabetic. I have neuropathy. Okay, I didn't sleep. Okay, I didn't sleep. I'm standing here.
Oh.
I'm gonna be here until I people come and help me. Okay. God bless you. Thank you for that.
No problem.
Is this live? Oh. Hello.
No one accepts this, Tracy. No one accepts it. Everyone. Okay? What they did with Mustafa, what they did with my son and my family, this is too much. Too much. Yeah, too much. Justice.
I don't know. You tell me if these angles are good.
They
No.
abducted him with
You got this angle?
blood.
Hey, like, you know, just tell me if this angles are good. You got this angle. You got
Tell
that.
everybody. Now
You're
we
gonna
go
rotate
everywhere
between this
until
angle and that
justice
angle. Is that
is
good?
done. Okay?
Yeah. And maybe really this way. Yeah, just.
God is watching everybody. God is watching.
Are these good angles?
Which one? This one's live?
I mean, we're gonna be
if
looking
you're
at
in
that
the DC
camera right
area,
there. We're gonna
sure.
look at that camera. Look, when you're talking, you're gonna look at that camera angle, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm just asking. You have to choose an angle.
سنوات عمري
Yeah, ma.
افتح لي ذاك الكرسي ان كيس اتعب اذا تقعد.
No. لما نحكي ما يصير طالع كلمتين. لما نقعد نحكي يصير نحكي.
Is Amar on YouTube already?
Yes, we are live on YouTube. We've got two angles set. I mean, that's a good angle, right? You got this angle. All right.
Are those recording?
Not yet. I'm about to hit the record. All right.
All right.
And you got this that you can put it there, so that way. See, right?
Do you have another?
عمار عندك 4 people يقول لك watching you. Yeah.
You
It's
have
okay.
4 people. I mean, it has to be on you on me. How are we
Yep.
gonna do that?
Nice.
We'll
حبيبتي كيسي.
Here. Right?
Put it where?
Or put it here.
It's okay. It doesn't matter.
Huh?
It doesn't matter.
No, I mean I want like this.
Yeah.
Can they see you?
Yeah, it's
They can
okay.
see you.
It's okay.
What do you mean it's okay?
I'm telling you, it's okay.
You want to turn it? Flip
No,
it?
this one's on. This one's on. It's okay.
Casey يقول لك she can see you.
Yeah, you can see me. Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
from
good.
YouTube and from
All right, good.
TikTok,
So we
right?
got,
Or
we got.
YouTube?
All right. All right.
Okay. Okay. She's.
All right. Everybody's live.
She's watching on YouTube.
Good.
Ammar.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
You want 4K or HD? Which one do you want?
Man, I'll take whatever you got.
Man, which one is higher?
Yeah, 4K is obviously better. Why don't you do the other one, the other option?
Which one? HD? No, click it. Oh yeah, never mind. You already have it.
4K?
Yeah, you already have it.
Yeah.
I have a post that's uploading real quick. I'm gonna go live.
All right, sounds good. We're just waiting for everybody to come in. Mama,
Let's just say this: if TikTok goes down for any reason, you can go to Amari's YouTube, which is hey, what is your YouTube?
Free Mustafa Al Jazari.
And it has the skull with the yellow
Skull with the yellow, yeah.
skull with the
All
yellow
right.
flag.
We are live. We've got a camera angle this way. We've got a camera angle that way. We're live on YouTube. We're live on TikTok.
This is the YouTube, or
Yeah.
if for any reason TikTok goes down, that's the YouTube. This is the YouTube. So, you know, it's less likely to be censored.
I have to focus, baby. I have to focus.
Please share the live. Share it. If you're local, come out and say hello. Yes. Where? This one? This battery? Alright. That's it? You sure?
I'm ready. Yeah, you got a notebook there. You got a pen.
Okay.
All right. We're live on YouTube. We're live on TikTok. We've got a camera angle this way. We've got a camera angle that way. This is a podcast for Mustafa Al Jazari. The name of this podcast is Mustafa Al Jazari through the police body cam conversation with Judge Weimer. Not another boring podcast. So this is what we're going to call this podcast. And we're waiting for everybody to come in on TikTok. My brother Muhammad is here. I'm Mustafa's older brother. And we're sitting right in front of the Department of Justice, right in front of the FBI building. And we have police body cams that Judge Weimer sealed to protect prosecutor Sarah Sanders, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth. For the past 2 years, they've been lying about Mustafa Al Jazari. Every police report is falsified. We're going to show this community what Prince William County Police Department have been doing to my brother Mustafa Al Jazari. 2 years, my brother has been in jail on falsified police report.
Abused.
And he's
Abused.
and abused.
Tortured.
They beat him. They essayed him inside the jail. They denied him medical. Why? Because we are here talking about Investigator Drum falsified his police report. And instead of holding this investigator accountable, they go in, correctional officer would beat him, essay him, and then deny him medical. You don't have to take my word for it. I literally have the CCTV video of Mustafa Al Jazari beaten up by correctional officer, carried handcuffed behind his back, naked, unconscious, while they're still hitting him, carried naked, unconscious down the stairs. Now, a year ago, we went to the Department of Justice and we told them that on May 24, 2023 of last year, Mustafa was beaten, essayed inside the jail. The Department of Justice mechanized the FBI and FBI Special Agent Lindsay Coulter, FBI Special Agent Samantha, and their supervisor, Special Agent Supervisor Huckle, uh, called us into the FBI building and told us nothing happened to your brother. Now, this is before we have this CCTV video that the community is watching, that they beat Mustafa unconscious and essayed him inside the jail. The FBI told us nothing happened. They lied to us. Well, now we have the video. We have evidence that they've done this to my brother. And we're sitting here in front of the Department of Justice, in front of the FBI building, and we're having a conversation. We're demanding accountability. When they tell us that nothing happened, we have the video. It tells them they've hurt my brother. A year ago is different from today, because today we have the CCTV video of what they done to my brother. We have police body cams where they falsified the police report. I mean, 2 years ago, we thought they only falsified the police report of his statements with Investigator Drum. We didn't know they falsified the whole entire thing. Every police report in the discovery is falsified. Every police report. You take a look.
Probable cause.
Probable cause is manufactured. They've manufactured probable cause. And I'll let my brother Muhammad tell you more about what does it mean when I say they manufacture a probable cause.
So Mustafa gets in a car accident on April 5th of 2023. During this accident, when the police respond to the scene, officers are already making statements that they're targeting him, that they're following him. Officers, specifically Officer Casey Fines, tells the primary investigator that Mustafa, he says, knowing this guy, it's going to be drug related. Okay. Now, from that point on, I mean, within 30 minutes of police showing up on the scene, within 30 minutes, they've already condemned Mustafa guilty. And you can see that through the body cams that have now been unsealed. Okay. And what do on the scene? They inject Mustafa with drugs.
50 mcg of F. The paramedic inject Mustafa with 50 mcg of F. Now, nowhere in the police report that you see that Mustafa was in for 2 years. Every time Mustafa gets in front of a judge, no one talks about Mustafa was injected with 50 mcg of F only to get interrogated by Officer Investigator Chad Mason.
Chad Mason and Officer Sermon. Okay. They put in their reports that Mustafa supposedly had no reaction when they told him that Dorothy had passed.
He falsified the police report.
Now, Mustafa's transported in a helicopter to Fairfax Hospital, which is driving is about an hour. So they transport him via helicopter. Dorothy was transported to a local hospital through ambulance. Empress, 5-year-old Empress. So with Empress, there's a discrepancy in the reports. Some of the reports claim that she was transported through helicopter, which we know is a lie.
We know through the body cams that that's a lie. Mustafa was helicoptered to the hospital.
Mustafa was helicoptered. Now, I mean, the question is, why was Empress not put on that helicopter, knowing that she's a 5-year-old, she's a small child, and the vehicle was hit on her side. She sustained a lot of damage. Why was she not put on a helicopter? And why do some of the medical notes claim that she was airlifted? And in reality, we know she was ambulanced. In this, I mean, it's almost an hour to drive. Now, this is during rush hour that she was put on an ambulance. And she was sent to the same hospital Mustafa went to.
No, we're not going to say they've done it on purpose, but someone made the wrong call. Someone made the wrong call, and someone has to take the liability. We know they don't want to take the liability, so what they've done is they turned a vehicle accident on dash camera. It's a vehicle accident. They turned it into M1. They charged Mustafa with 2 counts of M1. Why? Because they want to shift the liability because they made the wrong call on Empress? they made the wrong call on Dorothy?
Now, if Mustafa had a dash camera in his car that records, it has two lenses. It records the interior of his vehicle. It records the exterior. This camera was on. It was recording video, audio. This is a camera that Mustafa installed in his vehicle for his protection. Obviously, for if someone was to hit your car, if you get in a car accident. This camera, I mean, everybody knows what a dash camera is for. Okay? It's not something that came with the car. You went out of your way, and I think he paid about $400 or $500 for this camera. It's a high quality camera, and it records video and audio, and it stores it on an SD card. Okay? Now, Mustafa had a dash camera in his vehicle at the time of this accident. The county took this camera and put a seal on it, and they want to claim that Mustafa was having a heated argument in this vehicle and that he intentionally drove his car into oncoming traffic. This is the allegation, okay? However, now they don't show the community what this dash camera shows. They don't show Mustafa, they don't show us, they don't even show the lawyer what this dash camera shows.
They sealed the body cam, and within a day, they go on NBC4, tells this community into oncoming traffic. 5-year-old Empress did restrained.
Was not restrained.
That Mustafa did this on purpose, and they seal off the body cam. You don't find out that the dash camera, the community does not get to watch this dash camera because Amy Ashworth.
Well, let's stop for a second.
Okay.
They actually never told the community that Mustafa had a dash camera. They've never talked about this dash camera. It wasn't until months later when Amar and I went into the lawyer's office, okay, and after Mustafa was denied bond sometime in August of 2023, it's not until Amar went to the lawyer office, wore a hidden button camera, and recorded the lawyer playing this dash camera on his computer. I mean, otherwise, the community does not, I mean, months later, the community does not know that Mustafa had a dash camera. They're making these baseless allegations that he was in a heated argument, okay? And because he was so angry that he just drove into oncoming traffic, that's the allegation, okay? And they hide his dash camera, okay? Now, when Amar makes it public, when Amar makes the dash camera public, that shows Mustafa was never in an argument, that Mustafa was 5 minutes ago, he was at a gas station. And he spent almost 20 minutes at the gas station. Okay? It shows Mustafa from the apartment, he gets in a vehicle. Before he gets in the vehicle, he's actually cleaning Dorothy's seats. He's cleaning the passenger seat for Dorothy so that when she comes in, she has a clean seat. He sprays air freshener in his vehicle. Okay? So
he's sitting there washing 5-year-old Empress hands at the gas station.
This is at the gas station. So at the apartment, it shows Mustafa cleaning her seat, spraying air freshener. It shows him cleaning the outside of the passenger door. He's cleaning the car. Okay? And when she gets in, Mustafa turns back after she puts Empress in the back seat. He turns over to Dorothy and tells her to put the seat on the child. So Dorothy gets out of the car. She restrains the child properly. Okay, you can see this from the dash camera. And then they head off to the gas station.
But Julie Carey tells this community that 5-year-old Empress was not buckled inside that vehicle.
This is what they said initially. They said that Mustafa was not restrained, Dorothy was not restrained, and that the child did not have a seatbelt. Okay? Now, once Amar makes this dash camera public, the prosecutor immediately switches off the narrative in court. You can see the prosecutor's narrative evolve as more evidence comes to light. Every time the prosecutor says something in court, you know, we're sitting in court, we're documenting everything that this prosecutor is saying. Okay, and every time she makes an allegation, she makes a claim, we go to social media, okay, and we debunk it. We show evidence. It's not our word. We're showing actual hard evidence that this child was in fact restrained. Okay, we're showing that there was no argument in this in this 4 or 5 minute ride. But going back to the gas station, Mustafa goes to the gas station. Okay, now you have two videos. You have the dash camera and you have a video from CCTV footage from the 7-Eleven where he was filling up gas. And the video shows Mustafa getting out of the car, going into the gas station. He buys cigarettes, he buys candy, and he actually spends about 10 minutes inside of this 7-Eleven because he was trying to pull up a coupon on his phone.
A coupon that he can save $1 or $2 off the Newports.
He's buying a pack of Newport, and you can see from the CCTV footage from inside the 7-Eleven that he was pulling up a coupon to save $1. And
So you're telling me that he sat there for 10 minutes to save $1, $2, only to drive his vehicle into oncoming traffic
to end his life.
5 minutes later? Like, does that make sense? You're sitting there cleaning the car, washing Empress hands, giving Empress candy, using a coupon to save $1 or $2, only to drive your vehicle into oncoming traffic?
Mustafa gets in the car from after filling up gas, after washing his car for 10 minutes. He gets in the car and they're headed off to the cemetery where Dorothy had asked him to take her to the cemetery that day.
Now we know that Dorothy asked Mustafa to go to the cemetery because we have the CCTV video when the child forensic psychologist with the police department took the kids, sat them in a room, and asked them about Mustafa, asked him about the days before the accident, and the kids, Dorothy's kids, tells the child forensic with the police department that it was Dorothy that wanted to go to the cemetery, not Mustafa. Now, that contradicts the narrative of the police department, the prosecutor.
Mm-hmm.
The prosecutor says that Mustafa planned this out, that this is M1, 2 counts of M1, that Mustafa planned this out. This is premeditated.
And she says that he specifically took
Exactly.
Empress and Dorothy, and that he specifically wanted to leave the other 3 children at the apartment.
Now, you tell this to Julie Carey, she says the definition of premeditated, it could be before or on the last minute, but that's not what the prosecutor is saying here. The prosecutor is literally saying that Mustafa planned this out
On this day,
on this day, decided to, it was his idea to take Dorothy and Empress to the cemetery. The kid says otherwise. That contradicts the whole entire, that contradicts what the prosecutor is saying here, though.
not only the kids say otherwise, but actually the home videos.
The home videos.
You know, you might ask, what are these home videos? Mustafa and Dorothy had a camera called a Google Nest. This Google Nest was in the apartment, and whenever they would leave the apartment, they would communicate with the other children through this camera. This is a motion activated camera, and every time somebody, even if the dog gets in front of it, it captures a segment, okay, of motion, and it sends that video directly to Mustafa's phone. It sends that video to Dorothy's phone. Now the children could actually speak into this camera, and Mustafa and Dorothy would both get a text message of what those kids just said. And then Dorothy and Mustafa could respond to them through this, through their phones, and the camera would read off what Mustafa or Dorothy were saying. So they had this camera set up to check up on the kids, to always be in contact with the kids, to make sure that they're always okay. And you can see in these videos where Mustafa tells the kids, make sure this door is always open so that we could see what's going on in the apartment. And I think about 4 or 5 days after Mustafa's arrest, I was able to log into Mustafa's Google account, his iCloud, and download every single video in this camera.
Now we gave these videos to Casey Stevens.
We gave it to Casey Stevens a week after Mustafa's arrested. Now these videos are crucial. They're very important because you get a glimpse of what life was like inside this apartment.
Now it's been 2 years. Amy Ashworth refused to look or acknowledge that there's home videos. I remember that you, Mom, and the whole family went to Amy Ashworth and wanted to have Amy Ashworth look at the home videos. she threatened to kick you out.
To have
and
us remove,
have the police
to have the
arrest you.
sheriff's office remove us from her office.
Now, why is it that Amy Ashworth refused to look at the home videos? I'll tell you why. Because they contradict her narrative. Because once you put these home videos into evidence, she doesn't have a case anymore. It shows that Mustafa loves his family. It shows that everything was normal, everything was okay, and Amy Ashworth can't say this is premeditated.
I mean, think about it.
This is a vehicle accident.
2 years into this case, after multiple bond hearings, after multiple accusations, none of the lawyers
Acknowledge that
None
there's
of the
home videos.
lawyers have presented these videos as evidence against what the prosecutor is saying. The Commonwealth attorney, Amy Ashworth, refuses to take these videos. I have never seen a prosecutor say no to evidence. If you're a stranger and you walk into the prosecutor's office and you say, I have evidence on this case that you're prosecuting, you're telling me that a prosecutor is saying, no, I don't want your evidence. You're telling the prosecutor, I have videos on this case that you're prosecuting. And the prosecutor says, get out of my office or I'll have the sheriff's department remove you.
I mean, during a bond hearing, Judge Weimer, you've got the prosecutor, Sarah Sammy, screaming in court that Mustafa is abusive to the kids, that Mustafa is abusive to Dorothy, and the lawyer and Judge Weimer knows that there's home videos. The prosecutor knows there's home videos. Nowhere did they ever talk about home videos. Why are they not talking about the home videos that showed that Mustafa loved his family?
And the videos show Mustafa the day of the accident. It shows a couple days prior. I mean, there's hours and hours and hours of Mustafa, Dorothy, the kids playing around into the night, like playing water games, just horsing around, just, family stuff. Okay? You see that through all these videos, and the prosecutor doesn't want these videos. She still makes the accusations that she's saying that Mustafa was abusive. I mean, the narrative here is that this is what investigator Robert Drum says. He says that Mustafa was arguing with Dorothy for the past couple days, that he was so angry at Dorothy. He had so much hate for Dorothy. He had so much hate for the kids, and that the last couple days before the accident, this anger was out of control. And then on the day of April 5th, that Mustafa finally decided to carry out his plan. I mean, you look at the videos.
That he planned this out.
You look at the videos.
Yeah.
And there's not a single argument. There's not a single sign of abuse. You can see Mustafa loving these kids. The kids call him dad. The neighbors' kids call him dad. The kids are asking for his help. He's asking Empress for a Band-Aid.
Yep.
One of the kids actually come up to Mustafa early morning and says, I want to go with you guys. And then he starts crying because Dorothy says, no, we're not taking the kids with us. And the kids start crying. Okay? I mean,
You've got
these videos show a lovely relationship, a healthy relationship between a couple and her children. And Mustafa treated these kids like they were his kids. And for the prosecutor to make these allegations of abuse, to deny acknowledging that these videos exist, I mean, it's just odd.
I'll tell you,
It's just weird.
Investigator Drum, within hours of the vehicle accident, knowing that I've got a body cam, that he says I've got 4 fatalities on this road where 4 individuals mistook this road that Mustafa mistook and ended up in oncoming traffic. Now, with Mustafa, it can be vehicle accident. Mustafa, according to Drum, he did it on purpose, and he has to have done it on purpose. Within hours of the vehicle accident, he's calling the neighbor, Kim Coleman, Nene, aka Kim Coleman, Nene, Tanisha Coleman, whatever her name is, the neighbor, and he's telling her Mustafa did this on purpose. He drove into oncoming traffic on purpose. Now, this investigator, having watched the body cam, as a crash investigator, the dash camera, he hasn't watched the dash camera. He's not done with. He's a crash investigator. You're supposed to investigate the scene. But within hours, you've already made up your mind that this is that Mustafa did this on purpose. Why? We can see from the police body cams that one of the officers is walking up to Investigator Drum and he's telling him, "We've been watching Mustafa," and he labeled Mustafa as a rug user. Now, we know that Mustafa is being watched because he sued the police. Mustafa was in an active lawsuit against the police.
Let's
and the
talk
police.
about that for a little bit.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk.
Okay,
about it.
let's talk about this police lawsuit.
Yeah.
Okay. In 2018, the Stafford County Sheriff's Office was called to our property, okay, in March of 2018. Now, I was home, Mustafa was home, my younger brother, and my wife. This was close to around midnight in March, and on this night, a complete stranger is going around our private property, okay, with a flashlight, going through our cars. He's looking through our cars. Mustafa and I come out, and we're like, "Hey, what the hell are you doing? Who are you? What are you doing on our property?" Okay? And this guy was belligerent. I don't know if he was drunk. He had dirty clothes on. He was a tall, fat guy. Looked like he was homeless. Okay? We thought he was like planning to steal one of our cars. So we asked him to leave. Okay? There was a verbal argument back and forth. You know, he says, "I'm here to tow a car." We tell him to get off the property or we're going to call the police. And, you know, this guy eventually gets in his pickup truck and leaves the property. Okay? I mean, within 2 minutes, there's about 20 Stafford County Sheriff's deputies with rifles, guns, shotguns, you know, you name it, weapons drawn, screaming outside of our property, telling us to come out with our hands up or that they were going to shoot. Okay? We're forced to come out with our hands up. We're like, what the hell is going on? A stranger comes on our property. We ask him to leave. And then within 2 minutes, the Stafford County Sheriff's Office is on our property with guns drawn on us.
Now, they entered the house without a warrant.
So they bring us out one by one. They put us in cuffs, okay? And we tell them that you don't have a warrant to enter our house. This is America. You're not coming in without a warrant. And the officers are extremely rude. I mean, they're cursing at us. And by the way, my older brother was not home. Amar was not home. He was traveling at the time. And I heard the supervisor tell one of the officers, he says, "Where's the fourth one?" So it was me, Mustafa, my younger brother, and Amar was traveling at the time. And this supervisor says, "Where is the fourth one?" I mean, that was an odd thing to hear. And they claim that they're responding because the guy that was on the property allegedly says that we assaulted him. Okay? Myself and two of my brothers were charged with assault by mob, and we were arrested. We were taken to the jail. Now, in the meantime, my wife was still at home, and the police basically took over our property for almost 12 hours. No warrant, no probable cause. They just came in, took over the property. Okay? And, you know, we're thinking, what the hell is going on here? We're charged with assault by mob, which, by the way, this assault by mob charge was dismissed because it was baseless. And it turned out, actually, the guy that was on the property did work for a tow truck that tows for the police. It turned out that night, his name is Michael Heflin. This guy had an active warrant for his arrest for pinning his vehicle or pinning a woman into her vehicle using his vehicle.
No, they didn't arrest him that night. They let him go.
They did not arrest him. He had a warrant for his arrest. Actually, no, they did arrest him. But his dad, who's Michael Heflin Sr., they put his dad's name in the report as if his dad was there.
Interesting.
Okay? Because he was arrested that night. But they put his dad's name on the complaint. And his dad, who was never there on the property, they just put the name in there. Like it's, you know, business as usual. Falsifying reports? Sure. The guy had a warrant, so they took him to jail, and then they put his dad's name. Okay, but they took over our property for 12 hours without a warrant. Okay, now we have surveillance cameras in our home that record the outside. We have cameras in the hallway, in the living room, you know, the general areas. And the first thing police do when they enter the house is they unplug our DVR system, our security system. They unplug it, and when we get our property back, when we're allowed to come back to the property, they've wiped the DVR completely clean. There's nothing on this DVR. Nothing that happened when the police were there was recorded. The only footage that we have was images of my mom, who was traveling at the time with Amar. She was actually watching this thing in real time and taking snapshots on her iPad. That's how we have some of the images that we have from Stafford County entering our home. But, you know, every lawyer we talk to, they say, wait, you got to wait for the criminal case to be dismissed. Once that's dismissed, then we're going to look at your civil options. I mean, obviously, you're in America, you have rights. Okay, police just can't enter your home without a warrant. They can't enter without probable cause. Okay, and eventually, after 8 months of this assault by mob charge, eventually the Commonwealth Attorney for Stafford, Eric Olson, decides he's going to dismiss these charges. Once they're dismissed, we talked to the NAACP of Stafford, who introduced us to Westlake Legal Group. And this attorney says, you're absolutely right. You're an American citizen. You have rights in this country, and police can't just operate on their own and take over your house without a warrant. Okay? So they filed this huge lawsuit against the Stafford County Sheriffs. And this lawsuit takes, you know, a couple of years. They tell us this is a long process.
And in the process, Mustafa and the whole entire family is getting harassed left and right by police.
Constantly. Constant harassment. I mean, every time Mustafa leaves the house, every time, you know, I mean, it was just so frequent. It's like, it seemed like every time we leave our house, we get pulled over for something, okay? There's actually one video that Mustafa captured when police pull him over for a broken taillight, okay? And he's made to sit on the sidewalk in handcuffs for 3 hours, okay, over a broken taillight. Now, in this process, when they're searching his car, Mustafa has a camera inside his car that's recording, and you can hear the officer talking to a fellow officer that just showed up on the scene. The officer says, do you know these guys? And he says, not really, no. And then the guy searching the car, who was actually one of the officers that entered the home, he says, these are the Al-Jazaris. They're being watched. They're a bunch of assholes, and they live off of Onville Road, which is the street that we live on. And, you know, this harassment, I mean, went on. And I mean, there was a time in, I think, 2022 when, like during COVID, I'm sitting at home. This was like a stay home order. So I know I haven't left the house in 3 weeks, okay? Police, Stafford County Police show up at the property and they arrest me. And I'm thinking like, why am I being arrested? He says, you were trespassed from this convenience store, and we have a warrant for your arrest because you were trespassed, and now we have a warrant for you. So they put me in handcuffs, they take me to the jail, and then I'm released on a unsecured bond, so they just release me. And I go to court, and there's nobody there. I mean, I'm thinking like, what?
You know,
I've never been trespassed from any property, okay? I haven't even left the house, and on the date that they're accusing me of trespassing onto a property, I haven't even left the house on that date. So I'm thinking, how am I getting arrested when I'm sitting at home? Okay, I show up to court 3 times. The case gets continued, I show up again, and nobody shows up. It's just me and the prosecutor, and there's nobody there. I'm trying to figure out, who is this person that filed this complaint? Okay? It's harassment. Okay? To get arrested when you're sitting at home because they claim you trespassed a month ago, it's baseless. They're just trying to They're just trying to build up something. They're building something for the future. That's what they were doing. They're putting these cases
Police
down.
reports. They're
You know,
pulling police
in
reports.
Virginia, if
Yep.
you're arrested, even if they dismiss your case, it still shows up on the record. So if you search on it, you'll see a trespass. You'll see an arrest for a trespass. You'll see, all these things that are dismissed, but they were harassment. And then when I tell the lawyer that was suing this sheriff's office, he says, "Listen, your family is suing the biggest gang in America. Okay? I advise you and your brothers that if you don't have to leave the house, don't leave the house. Okay?
I mean, it's a $500,000 lawsuit.
Try not to leave the house because you're going to get harassed. You're going to get harassed. Okay? This is going to happen. And every time you interact with the police, I want you guys to record it." Okay? So we were documenting every time we get harassed.
Yep.
Okay? And we were sending it to this lawyer. At some point in this lawsuit, the lawyer says, we're trying to come to a settlement with this case. Okay? And they put out an offer, or they taught Mustafa. I think the lawyer wanted us to be on a phone call with the judge that's going to be settling this case. And Mustafa was the one to talk to him. This was in 2023, actually. Okay? And this case was ongoing when Mustafa's accident happened. Okay, so fast forward to this accident with Mustafa. When we called this lawyer, the civil lawyer, by the way, the civil case was dismissed a week after Mustafa's arrest. Okay, and we're thinking, what happened to this case? Why did the lawyer all of a sudden decide to withdraw? The civil lawyer decided to withdraw. And a conversation that I had with a witness that was going to testify for us, he says that, so this was a doctor that was writing a report that was discussing the traumatic effect of what happens when police violate your rights and they continuously harass you. This doctor was just writing up a report about PTSD, or just what happens to a person when they get harassed constantly. Okay? Now, this doctor was going to testify as an expert witness in our civil case. He calls me up and he says that men in suits, okay, came to his apartment and told him that if you testified for the Al-Jazaris, okay, we're going to arrest you, we're going to pull your medical license, and we're going to drag your name in the media. Okay?
No, I find that interesting, because the same lawyer that today sits in federal court in front of Judge Hilton,
You're talking about the lawyer for the police.
Rachel Adams, the same lawyer that's defending the police against the lawsuit that Mustafa's filing is Rachel Adams with Thomas McMillan. It's the same lawyer that's now today after Mustafa is representing the jail, and it's telling Judge Hilton Mustafa doesn't need to go to the hospital after a correctional officer beat him and abused him. And you want to tell me this is not a targeted effort to abuse Mustafa? I mean, Mustafa's lawyer, when you tell him Mustafa got beaten up inside the jail, he says, I have no doubt that they beat your brother, abused your brother, because he sued the police. The fact that you have the same lawyer, Rachel Adams, I mean, you want to tell me that this is not a targeted effort against Mustafa?
I mean, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this beat up inside the jail. So, Mustafa was arrested on April 7th, and we know that the primary investigator falsified Mustafa's statements because
We have a recording.
I recorded that conversation. So Mustafa had a conversation with investigator Robert Drum on April 7th, and that same night Mustafa was arrested. Now, when Mustafa shows up to court the following Monday, the prosecutor is telling the judge, she says, Your Honor, he told the investigator that he knew what happened in this accident, that he was arguing with his girlfriend, and that this was intentional. This is what the prosecutor is telling the judge. And I'm sitting there thinking, Mustafa didn't say that. He never said that, okay? when the police report gets released to the attorney who shares it with us, we're looking at this discovery report, and there's an entire section that says phone interview with Mustafa by Robert Drum.
Yep.
Okay? It's 2 pages long, and I have the audio. So we compare the audio to this narrative that was ran down by Robert Drum, this investigator. And there are 5 items in this report, I mean crucial items in this report, that are the complete opposite of what Mustafa said. Mustafa says, I don't know what happened in this accident. And the investigator writes, I know what happened. Mustafa says, I was never arguing with Dorothy. Investigator writes, Mustafa was very angry at Dorothy. He says he was arguing, and that's why he drove into oncoming traffic. Okay? And there was other things, like I think the time he went to sleep, Mustafa says, I went to sleep, he says, I went to sleep late and I woke up late. Robert Drum puts in the report, Mustafa said, I slept at 2 o'clock. Mustafa never said that. Mustafa never gave a number. So for the investigator to put in his own narrative only to manufacture this probable cause so that he can get a warrant for his arrest. I mean, you know, you might think for someone to say, I don't know what happened, and the investigator says, I know what happened. You know, you might think, I mean, that's such a small discrepancy. Who cares? Well, we're talking about an accident, a fatal accident, where 2 people lost their lives. And when you say, I don't know what happened, or I know what happened, a judge is looking at this and he's thinking, 2 people lost their lives and this man says, I know what happened?
I mean, Investigator Drum literally says that Mustafa told him I was arguing inside the vehicle.
I mean, they're basically saying Mustafa confessed
Yep.
to doing this intentionally. And that's not the case. We know it's a complete lie. It's a fabrication.
And I find it
Okay.
interesting that Investigator Drum never recorded that conversation. And it was supposed to be in court, my word against Mustafa's word. The investigator's word against Mustafa's words. I mean, you've got an investigator that's been there for 20 years, didn't turn on his body cam, and now the police report says Mustafa said I was arguing inside the vehicle. Now, he wasn't counting on the fact that Muhammad recorded it.
So how do we know he didn't record it? You know,
Because I have everything in the discovery, everything that's in evidence.com, I have it.
let's break it down.
Yeah.
Okay. So at some point after firing Casey Stevens, who never presented the evidence, never represented Mustafa properly, he withheld evidence. Okay. At some point, Amar and I, in September of 2023, we go into the Prince William County Police Department and we tell them that actually Amar was protesting outside the police department.
Yep.
When a captain came out and said, young man, what are you protesting?
Yep.
Amar tells him that the investigator falsified my brother's statement.
He said, you can come in and file a complaint against this investigator.
Yep.
And that's exactly what I did. I filed a complaint, and my complaint was very specific. I said, Investigator Drum falsified my brother's statement in the police report. My brother never said I was arguing inside the vehicle. This investigator said, Mustafa.
Let's talk about that.
Okay. And then I said, I have a recording. I want to provide this police department.
We sat down with Internal Affairs for almost an hour, and we explained to him what I just told you. The 5 things in the report.
By the way, the whole thing is recorded. It's on YouTube. A
Okay.
90-minute conversation. Yeah.
So we told him exactly what we just said, is that this investigator falsified Mustafa's statements. And he says, how do you know? We actually played the audio for him, and we brought in 3 copies of the phone interview with Mustafa, portion of the discovery. Okay? And we gave him a copy, and we both each had a copy. And we listened to this 30-minute call. Okay? And as we're listening to it, we're highlighting, Amar's highlighting, and Internal Affairs officer is highlighting. And he tells us that they take these allegations extremely seriously because the police department is only as good as the community's trust in that police department. And they care deeply about how the community perceives this police department and its officers. So, I mean, we had hope that at least we're in the right office, you know, that we're talking to the right people, and that they're going to get to the bottom of why this investigator falsified Mustafa statements. So he takes this complaint and he calls us about, I think 5 days later.
He wanted the recording. He said, email me
Oh yeah.
the recording.
Yeah. Immediately after the interview, he says, if you could email me this recording, he says, if you can email it to me all at once, I don't want it chopped up, I don't want it cut up. I want the full interview in one go. I said, yeah, of course, absolutely.
We want to authenticate it with the recording that we have.
He says, I want to authenticate it with our recording.
Yep.
Because he claims that Robert Drum recorded this conversation as well on his body camera. Okay, so he wants my recording. It's vital that I send him this recording. So I email him this recording. And within a few days, he gives me a call and he tells me that he briefed the chief of police about this complaint, that if we wanted to go ahead, that they would do an internal investigation, an in-house investigation as to what happened, and they're going to get to the bottom of why this investigator's report does not match the actual statements made by Mustafa. Okay? And in that process, this conversation happened on a Wednesday. Okay? On a Wednesday, this conversation happened. And on Monday, the following Monday, Mustafa's charges are upgraded from involuntary manslaughter to second-degree murder.
Now, isn't that what Casey Stevens said? I have a recording of Casey Stevens when we were telling him we want to tell the prosecutor that this investigator falsified and lied about falsified Mustafa's statements. He says, I have a video. Casey Stevens says, the prosecutor is going to retaliate by protecting her cop. I mean, that's exactly what's happening here. You complain to Internal Affairs that you have evidence that this investigator falsified the police report. Amy Ashworth, a couple of days later, she ups it to
murder. I mean,
basically.
Think about it like this. They've been lying about his statements from April until October. Okay? They've been lying the whole time. In the last week of September, we go in and we give the police department evidence that the officer falsified Mustafa's statements. And in return,
they upgrade the charges.
You're expecting them to
suspend the preliminary hearing and they upgrade the charges. I mean, now we know why they suspended the preliminary hearing, because they manufacture a probable cause.
I mean, they're working backwards. When you complain and you show the police department that this officer actively falsified Mustafa's statements, and you give them the evidence, they upgrade the charge. And he says, when we call him, I mean, we're upset. We're extremely upset. We're like, we don't get it. You just upgraded his charge after we gave you evidence that this investigator lied. And he says, look, we have nothing to do with what the Commonwealth Attorney does. Yep. It's a separate agency. We do our part. We do our investigations. We send it over to the Commonwealth, and then they do whatever they do. We have no control over what they do. And we're like, well, your officer lied. He put it on the narrative. He lied in his report, and he gave it to the Commonwealth. There has to be something that you guys could do about this officer lying, because
he said it's not my job. He said the Commonwealth is a separate entity, and the Commonwealth is the one that brings up charges. Now you go to the Commonwealth Attorney, she says, I'm going off police reports. You go to the police department, they're like, we're doing our job. The Commonwealth Attorney is a separate entity, is a separate office. She's doing that. Well, what do you do when the police officer are falsifying the police report and the body cam show that they falsified the police report? So who's gonna be held accountable? The Commonwealth Attorney says we're not watching the body cams. We're going off police reports.
They're throwing it back and forth.
They're
shifting the blame.
And the police department falsified this police report, and they're like, the Commonwealth Attorney brings up charges. Well, she's bringing up charges based on your falsified police report. Mm-hmm. And what do you do to protect this police department? The Commonwealth Attorney goes up to Judge Weimer, and she gets an order to seal off the body cams.
Seal it.
I mean, not until we now have the body cams that we can show that every police report is falsified. Mustafa is held inside this jail for the past 2 years on manufactured probable cause. Not probable cause, manufactured probable cause. Witnesses that lied about Mustafa. It's all hearsay. And witnesses that are, you got an Amy Hodgkins that's pretending to be a witness. You got Glenn Ford that's lying about Mustafa. You got
Not only Glenn,
neighbor.
Glenn Ford, not only lying, but he was actually the abusive ex-boyfriend. That's Glenn Ford.
You don't have to take our word for it. There's police reports. There's body cams when he kicked Dorothy and the kids in the winter.
And he kicked him out in the winter.
I mean, Dorothy was living out of her van with 5 kids because of Glenn Ford. He
there's-
cheated on her. He kicked her out.
There's a record because he called the police to have her removed from his property.
And Amy Ashworth knows that. This investigator knows that. When they're sitting there using him as a witness, they know that he's the abusive boyfriend. They know that he's a jealous boyfriend that's been watching Mustafa and is upset about Dorothy moving on with her life. I mean, Mustafa doesn't even know Glenn Ford. This whole narrative that Mustafa is upset because of Glenn Ford. Mustafa, according to Glenn Ford, okay?
They've never met.
They've never met.
And they've
He
never
doesn't even
talked.
know me.
They've never talked.
We've never talked. So what are you talking about? You've got a jealous ex-boyfriend watching Mustafa, and the police department goes to the jealous ex-boyfriend and asking him, "Oh, what do you think about Mustafa? What do you think about Dorothy? What do you think happened here?" You were manufacturing probably. And then the Commonwealth attorney goes as far as promised this witness, Glenn Ford, to remove all his criminal charges if he testify and lie about Mustafa. And you can verify that when you watch the body cam. This is we have evidence that he lied about Mustafa.
I mean, Glenn Ford's
record has got deleted.
Glenn Ford has he picked up some serious charges on different days. By the way, they're not on the same date.
Yeah.
Brandishing a weapon, possession of Schedule 2, intent to distribute. You know, I mean, these are serious charges, and for them to all of a sudden just be gone, like poof, gone. What are you promising this man for in return for his falsified statements? And by the way, you know, people might say, well, this guy's not important. He was never there. Everything he says is going to be hearsay. Okay? The neighbor, Tanisha Coleman, everything she says is hearsay. Her statements are not important. Amy Hodgson, who called in, who lives apparently like 3 hours away, and now we have reason to believe that she's someone is using her identity to call the police and make false statements. Now, these people, you know, a lawyer will tell you, none of this matters. You know, none of this matters because in court, in trial, they can't use them. It's all hearsay. Well, here's the problem, is that they brought these charges forward against Mustafa based on these people's statements. They manufactured probable cause to make an arrest, okay? And now they're claiming that he's going to go to trial, and trial is if he's innocent, he's going to be vindicated. But to bring him to this point, to bring in witnesses that were tampered with by the police, to bring in this manufactured probable cause. I mean, you look at the children, okay, in the videos at the apartment. When I asked the children, I said, "Do you have any family members?" And they said, "Yeah, we have a stepdad," as they're crying. And I'm thinking like, okay, great. You know, who's the stepdad? And they say Moses, Mustafa. That's the person they trusted. Okay? And for the police to tell these kids that Mustafa crashed the car, ended your mother's life, and ran away from the scene, and that's why your little sister is no longer alive, that's a crime. That's child abuse.
I mean, you've got Javen.
For the police to tell these children a lie when they know, I mean, we see it on the body cam. He was airlifted, they tested his blood, and they cleared him at the hospital. And then 3 hours later, the same investigator that cleared him from the hospital is telling these children that your stepfather, yeah, he crashed the car and he ran away. That's why your little 5-year-old sister, she didn't make it. That's what they're telling these kids. Okay? We find this out through this forensic interview, okay, by the police, because when the interviewer is asking this kid, she says, how do you know that he ran away from the scene and that your sister didn't make it? Because he left the scene.
He says the investigator told me.
He says detectives told me.
Detective told me.
So the detectives are the same ones that went on the news and said this was intentional. They're the same ones that told Dorothy's brother, who lives in another state, they told him that she was on the phone screaming for help and that this man is on the run. I mean, think about it. They just cleared him from the hospital. And now they're telling the girl's family, they're telling Dorothy's family that Mustafa had run away from the scene and they can't locate him. This is manufactured probable cause.
You know, 13-year-old Javen, Dorothy's child, says in a forensic interview, Mom always told me to trust Mustafa. Only after this investigator told me that Mustafa crashed the vehicle on purpose, left my 5-year-old sister, ran away. If he hadn't run away, she would have still been alive today. I don't trust Mustafa anymore. I mean, this gives you insight into the relationship that Mustafa has with Dorothy. Javen, the 13-year-old child, says, Mom always told me to trust Mustafa. But when this investigator gets involved, I mean, you're lying to these kids. You've got kids that just lost their mother, and now you're painting Mustafa as a monster. And you put them in a room only to extract statements from them about Mustafa.
You know, and I'll say this. You know, initially, we were thinking Mustafa's going to go to court, evidence is going to be presented, and he's going to be vindicated. All these allegations, these lies, they're all going to show up in court. But the moment we tell the lawyer that we recorded the conversation between Mustafa and Drum, the moment the police find out that when Mustafa shows up to court, he has a recording of what this investigator said, what Mustafa said. He has a recording. So the investigator can't just sit back and say, my word against yours. We know now that this investigator never recorded that conversation. We know now that Internal Affairs, who told us that the investigator also recorded the conversation,
It's a lie.
we know that's a lie. And imagine, for Internal Affairs, I mean, the department, the Office of Professional Standards,
Sean Shelton.
this is the
for him to
department,
say, yep.
this is the department
Yep.
that holds officers accountable when they violate the law. For that investigator to lie to us, flat out lie, you got a problem here.
I mean,
You got a major problem when Internal Affairs is lying to you, to cover up for a cop.
You know, I'll tell you, not only did they falsify the police report, now when you complain to Internal Affairs, they falsified the supplement report. The supplement report and the discovery is falsified. And we know that now because at the time they sealed off the result from what Internal Affairs was doing and found out and how they fixed it. And they said, we fixed it. Well, we're like, how did you fix it?
They sent us
Apparently, they sent us a letter that we determined that this investigator
had violated department
policy,
and that the situation was remedied.
Now, we now have the discovery, and you find out that they not only falsified the police report, no, they went and falsified the supplement report.
And they tried to seal it.
You know, it's been 2 years, and 2 years they say that this dash camera does not have audio. Mustafa's bond hearing, this prosecutor says she's talking about a lip reader.
For the past 20 months.
They've
been saying that this dash camera didn't record audio. That's what they've been saying officially on the record. If you go to the record, you can pull up these transcripts, okay? And you can see that prosecutor is always saying, actually they never mention the audio. They say that they have video from this dash camera but no audio. Mm-hmm. Okay, it wasn't until 2 months ago. Imagine, 2 months ago, 18 months later, we find out that investigator Drum had took this dash camera, plugged it into his personal computer, reviewed all the files on it, and admits in his memos, he says in his memos that he watched the video with the audio. And then he took this dash camera and sent it off to forensics. And forensics took this camera and they admit that there is video with a visible audio track. I mean, these are the quotes from investigator
Zymus.
Zymus with the forensics unit. She says that this dash cam video has a visible audio track. You look at Drum's memo, he says that this video, he watched these videos with audio, but that he had plugged it into his personal computer. Now, when the attorney questions investigator Chad Mason, and he says, "Are you allowed to put these? Are you allowed to put this evidence, plug it into your personal computer?" He says, "No, it's against policy." And he's like, "So what?" It's almost like he's proud that he's violating department policy with evidence. You took this man's dash camera, okay, and you plugged it into your personal computer, and you reviewed all the files before sending it off to forensics. I mean, how is that okay? To take evidence, tamper with it on your personal computer before you send it off officially to have it reviewed by forensics.
I'll tell you what's happening here. They watched this dash camera with audio, and they saw that there is no argument, and they're like, how are we gonna fabricate? How are we gonna get away with this? Remove the audio. The judge is gonna seal off these documents anyway. We're gonna get the prosecutor to seal off the documents.
And who's gonna know?
Who's gonna know? To be honest with you, who's gonna know? I mean, it's been 2 years. I mean, now I have the body cams. Now I have the discovery. This discovery is not. You can't FOIA request this discovery. You can't FOIA request discovery. You can't FOIA request these body cams. These body cams are sealed by Judge Weimer, but I have them. And I'm looking at these documents.
Forget about
and
FOIA.
This dash camera has audio.
Look.
What this police department did, they looked at this dash camera, and they're like, okay, all right, there is no argument. This is a vehicle accident. What are we gonna do to fabricate a charge on this guy that's suing us? Oh, remove the audio, cut the dash camera, but they're so incompetent that when they cut this dash camera, they did not cut it by frames. If you measure the frames on the outside camera and the frames on the inside camera, you find out missing frame. They're talking about Mustafa did not have a reaction, did not have a facial reaction. Julie Carey says Mustafa Al-Jazari's facial expression changes little. Really? Did you not cut this dash camera? This police department, we have proof that this police department is cut.
Why is the internal camera, the interior lens, why is it missing frames from when Mustafa begins to have a reaction? I mean, is it not odd that the camera cuts before impact and before Mustafa has a facial reaction?
Now we know.
What are the odds?
Now we know. This is a Rexon dash camera. We know.
This is a famous company. Rexon is a major. I mean, this is a $500 camera.
We know, according to Drum, that he listened to the content of the conversation. He said they were talking about courts. They were door dashing. They were talking about court. Okay, so you're telling me that you heard the content of the conversation and you want to sit there and claim that there is no audio? We know that according to Officer Zymus with the digital forensic with the police department, that this dash camera does have audio. We know, according to Rexon and according to the police department, that this dash camera, the audio, and the whole entire dash camera is on the SD card.
Here, you know,
it's on the SD cards.
Put all that aside for a second. The fact that this camera has audio, or the fact that the officers claim it has audio, that's exculpatory evidence, because for at the time, for 18 months, Mustafa's been getting denied bond, okay? And they never gave Mustafa's attorney the information that his dash camera's audio capability was turned on, that the dash cam videos did in fact have audio. That's exculpatory evidence.
They hid all of it.
And they never shared that with the attorneys. Okay? They never shared it with the attorney.
I mean, Mustafa's bond was revoked. Mustafa was denied bond because they said, oh, we have to get a lip reader. The lip reader, if I get a lip reader,
She's gonna say, Dorothy
she's gonna
said,
say, Dorothy's gonna say,
no Empress
no
is in the
Empress
car.
is in the car. Okay, well, why do you need a lip reader if you have the audio? Your police department is telling you in the documents that this dash camera has audio.
But they didn't tell Mustafa's attorney that this dash camera did have audio, that the
It's
officers
illegal.
that the officers reviewed it. They
No.
didn't tell him until
No.
months after bond hearing.
No,
Months
it's
after the
illegal.
bond.
It's illegal for a prosecutor to withhold exculpatory evidence. What
Yeah,
is Judge?
it's a Brady violation.
But it's a Brady violation. But what does Judge Weimer do? He sees it, and he seals off the body cam for the prosecutor. As a matter of fact, they take it further and put it all over NBC floor. Not only that they have to get a lip reader, and the lip reader is now saying, no, Empress is in the car, that they never talk about the audio. They take it further and say, Mustafa threatened a correctional officer inside the jail. Well, let's talk about that for 2 seconds. The lawyer subpoenaed the CCTV inside the jail. The lawyer subpoenaed any material that involved with the incident. They claim on April 5th, Mustafa threatened a correctional officer. Now, why is it
But
that...
before you go into that,
Yeah.
so Mustafa was granted bond in April.
Yep.
The judge said $5,000 bond.
He watches the dash camera. He
The judge
listens to the audio conversation that this investigator lied about
Watches the
Mustafa,
dash camera.
and he grants Mustafa a $5,000 bond.
He looks at everything. This judge looks at everything in this case, and he grants Mustafa a $5,000 bond. Now imagine 6 felony counts, and the judge looked at the evidence and said, give this man his bond. And he issues a $5,000 bond. Okay? The prosecutor is so angry when this judge rules. She's so angry that she tells the judge, she says, Your Honor, I'm going to appeal this decision. I'm going to appeal it to the Court of Appeals. Okay? And the judge says, okay, you can do that, but I've already given my order. I've already given him $5,000 bond. If you want to appeal it, I mean, she can take it up to a higher court. Okay? And then she is so angry that she's arguing with the judge, back and forth, arguing. And she tells him, Judge, the Commonwealth attorney is not going to be happy
What does that mean?
with you about this decision.
What does that mean? What does that really mean?
It's literally a threat. She threatened the judge that if he gave this order, that he was going to have problems with the Commonwealth attorney, that they're going to have problems. And the judge is hesitant, but then he orders a 1 week stay. This was on a Friday, and he says, okay, we're going to reconvene next Friday, and you're going to tell me how long it's going to take for the Court of Appeals to hear your appeal. That's all that it was. She was going to come in on Friday and tell the judge, Your Honor, it's going to take X amount of months for the Court of Appeals to hear my appeal. That's all she was supposed to do, is update the judge how long it's going to take for her appeal to be heard at the Court of Appeals. That's all she was supposed to do. We go in Friday, and this prosecutor comes in, and she's accusing Mustafa that a month ago, and think about it. This is 7 days later. She's accusing Mustafa. A month ago, he threatened a correctional officer. Your Honor, Mustafa threatened a correctional officer a month ago. He told the correctional officer that you're not going to get away with this, and that I'm going to find you, or I don't know what she said. She alleges that Mustafa told the correctional officer that he was going to find her information and he was going to put her on the internet. That's what she alleges. That this happened a month ago. But I mean, now she didn't talk about this 7 days prior during his bond hearing. She didn't bring this up. She didn't bring up any incident from the jail 7 days prior. And then the judge all of a sudden says, bond denied. I'm reversing my decision and I'm taking away the bond. And we're thinking, okay, hold on a second. Judge gives a bond, okay? And then a week later, this prosecutor comes up with this BS accusation that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer a month ago. And now the judge is taking away his bond. You know, like when you BS us, at least make it like
Let's make it sense. You want to
make it believable when you give us some BS.
You want to tell me that you have evidence that you're coming home, you're coming out on bond, and you're going to turn around and threaten a correctional officer only for them to bring you back into jail? I mean, Mustafa. Mustafa was beaten.
If that was
Mustafa
true,
was beaten,
if that was true,
abused,
if that
denied
was,
medical,
if that was true,
inside this jail.
If that was true, why did she not talk about it
Exactly.
on the day he had bond?
Exactly. Why did you have to wait 7 days for you to bring this up? Now the lawyer at the time appealed it, and he subpoenaed the CCTV camera from the jail and any material that shows the incident. Now, just so everybody knows, every body cam, every audio, every document in Mustafa's discovery that is sealed by Judge Weimer, I have them on a flash drive. I have them. And I'm releasing them. I'm talking about them. And when I tell you that the CCTV camera inside the jail is subpoenaed, it's in the discovery, but what I find interesting, the incident started at 9:30. Correctional officer entered Mustafa's cell, beat Mustafa, stepped on his Quran, violated his religious items at 9:30. I have the audio recording of the hearing that took place after the incident with correctional officer. So I have the audio, I have the document. This incident took place at 9:30. Now this is exculpatory evidence. The lawyer subpoenaed the camera inside the jail. Why is it that in the discovery they only released the camera at 10:15? Only after correctional officer went in, beat Mustafa, stepped on his Quran, religious items, and then at 10:15 began to give him his items back.
And they never wrote him up that day.
They never wrote him up that day. They wrote him up 24 hours later because we were protesting on April 5th outside the jail. And we made the videos that when we went live in front of the jail when we were protesting, these videos went viral and the community was listening to us talk about Mustafa's religious item get violated. 24 hours later, the correctional officer, Jessica Celeste, comes back and says, Mustafa threatened me. And he said, he threatened me.
But now, none of that matters because the judge.
The point is, the point that I'm trying to make here is they've held exculpatory evidence. That camera inside the jail was supposed to be at 9:30, but they were released at 10:30. They don't want to show when the correctional officer went in, beat Mustafa, stepped on his religious items, and I mean, there's a witness.
What are you gonna see? His items being thrown out?
I mean, that's what the witness says. I've got a recording of the internal hearing that took place after the incident. The witness, an inmate across from Mustafa, says that Mustafa never threatened the correctional officer, never threatened the correctional officer. Instead, correctional officer beat him and violated his religious items.
And
now,
if he had allegedly threatened this correctional officer, would they give him back his items? Does that make sense?
Exactly.
On the jail video, you can see officers give Mustafa his items back at what, 9:30?
10:15.
At 10:15, you see officers give Mustafa all of his items back.
If he threatened this correctional officer, why would they give him?
Why are you giving back all his items? Why did you not write him up that day?
You're claiming that Mustafa says, Jessica Celeste, I know where you live. I'm gonna beat my charges. Come out and find you. Are you kidding me here? I'm gonna beat my charges? You're talking about an individual that got beaten up inside the jail, that got essayed inside the jail, is being denied medical. You're telling me that he's gonna come out, beat his charges, only to commit a crime and bring him back so they can do that. They can beat him up some more. Make this make sense. Literally, there's a witness that says Mustafa never threatened the correctional officer. Where does Judge Weimer?
Two witnesses.
Two witnesses.
Two witnesses.
What does Judge Weimer do in court during the appeal? He doesn't even want to hear it.
Doesn't want to hear it at all. The judge says, we're not going to hear it.
And then turn around and seal off the body cams.
And then they seal off.
We wouldn't know that this is happening that there's a witness, that there's a CCTV video, that there's body cams. I mean, if I didn't have it on a flash drive, I mean, Judge Weimer sealed off all of it.
Now this is discovery. You would think in America that an accused person is entitled to know what he's being accused of. You know, if you are accused of a crime, you have a right to know what you're being accused of. You have a right to know what witnesses are accusing you of. In this case, for 20 months, Mustafa does not know what he's being charged with. He doesn't know what the witnesses are saying. He doesn't know anything.
They suspended the preliminary hearing.
He doesn't know anything
sealed
about
off the
his
body
case
cam.
for 20 months. Imagine, you're not allowed to look at discovery. You're not allowed to look at any police report. You're not allowed to review body cams. You're not allowed to look at anything. I mean, this is America. We're sitting in front of the Justice Department. This is your constitutional right. It's due process. If you are being accused of a crime, you have a right to know what you're being charged with. You have a right to know what witnesses are saying about you,
Now,
what
I'll
they're
tell you.
alleging about you.
I'll tell you why they don't want Mustafa to see any of it. I'll tell you why they don't want his family or this community to see any of it. Because every body cam, every police report has been falsified. I have the body cam that this community, I'm releasing body cams that this community is watching these police reports. I'm releasing documents, I'm releasing police report, I'm releasing a body cam, and it shows that every police report is falsified. And Judge Weimer is in on it. He's protecting a prosecutor. For the past 2 years, they've lied to this. They've lied to this community. They've lied to Mustafa. They've lied to this family. Okay. Everything is falsified.
And by the way, when Amar says every body cam is falsified, that is not an exaggeration. Every body cam in Mustafa's case does not match the written report. Every body cam. Every single body cam. I mean, you have investigators saying that there are no skid marks. Investigator Chad Mason, in every single report, he says there are no skid marks. In every body cam of Chad Mason on the scene, he says all of these are his skid marks. Robert Drum, another officer, is asking him, are there any skid marks? And he literally tells the officers, all of these are his skid marks. You can see in the photos that they took of the scene, you can see skid marks from Mustafa's vehicle.
And they say Mustafa cleared the SUV only for the SUV to turn into Mustafa.
So you have officers on the scene admitting this was a car accident, that Mustafa had attempted to avoid a vehicle accident and that the SUV turned into him. This is, I mean, it's not our words. This is what the primary investigator, Robert Drum, said on his body cam. But nowhere in the report do you see that investigator Robert Drum says anything about that. They never mention it. He says, in fact, the opposite. He says that Mustafa never attempted to avoid a vehicle accident. But yet here you are. The scene does not match what investigator Drum says. And his statements don't match what he said. I mean, his statements in the police report don't match what he said on body cam. So that's how you know this is a malicious prosecution. You know that this is a targeted effort by the police department to get the man that sued them. This is what it's all about. They have to get this man because he sued them.
The same lawyer that used to represent the police in Mustafa's lawsuit, Rachel Adams, with Thomas McMillan, is the same lawyer that's representing the jail who beat Said Mustafa and is denying him medical. I mean, you've got Rachel Adams screaming at Judge Hilton, telling him Mustafa should not go to the hospital.
And by the way, we don't have a problem with him waiting until his trial is here. But when you go in and you sexually assault him, when officers go in, strip him naked, beat him up, and drag him to another cell, I mean, they're attempting to end his life.
I'll tell you.
Okay, you're attempting to end this man's life. You've already removed the option of waiting for justice through the system. Okay, not once or twice or 4 times they went in and they beat him 4 times. I mean, you know, when things like this happen, you expect that there's oversight. You expect that somebody in there is gonna put a stop to this. Okay, we
I mean-
we filed a complaint with the FBI, which is 1 block away. Okay, we had agents come out within like 3 weeks. Even Julie Carey says, she says, I have never seen the FBI respond so fast. I have never seen it. Okay, you get FBI agents that come out and they flat out lie. I mean, as soon as they talk to Mustafa, the moment they talk to Mustafa, the superintendent is in his cell asking him, who's bringing the FBI to my jail? Okay, and a week later, they take away his visits, they take away his phone calls, they take away his commissary, and they put a cover on his door. I mean, you literally just went in and put a target on this man after talking to the FBI. I mean, is this what the FBI was reporting back to headquarters? I doubt it. You know, we'd like to believe that there's a system here,
You know, I'll tell you.
that
our
corruption
problem-
is not that deep.
Yep.
Okay, I think it's a group of officers, it's a group of agents who are targeting this man, who are trying to cover up for their racist buddies. Clearly, they're targeting Mustafa. Clearly, I mean, it's on video. You can't deny that Mustafa was stripped of his clothing, beaten up, and dragged unconscious to another cell. But that's what Lindsay Coulter, special agent, wants to tell us. I mean,
nothing happened. She shows us a picture of the day after the incident. When you literally have a video of Mustafa getting carried unconscious, naked, handcuffed behind his back, getting beaten up from one cell into another cell down the stairs.
But I mean, you know, it looks like, you know, when you look at Mustafa's case, when you look at Tatiana David, it looks like this is business as usual. Beating up inmates. I mean, do you know how many inmates came forward and gave a statement where they talk about getting beat up, getting sexually assaulted by officers, deprived food, medications?
I mean, I remember one time he said you were visiting Mustafa and you literally saw a naked inmate
Two of them.
Two naked inmates getting walked from one cell into another cell.
With a piece of cloth on their private parts. That's the only thing covering.
And
covering up their
then
body.
at the time, I remember, you have people like Sheriff Terry, Sheriff Glenn Hill.
They tell me never happened.
It never happened. Well, what if I tell you I've got a CCTV video that's gonna show
of that visit itself.
of that visit. I've got the visit, and I'm gonna be releasing that visit, and this community is gonna see what my brother's talking about.
They said it would never happen. That what you're saying is a lie. Okay, you have.
You've got inmate limping, naked, limping in the background. You've got inmate limping. How bad did you beat these inmates? And why are they walking around naked? Sheriff Glenn Hill says it'll never happen.
This is a hotel.
This is a hotel.
This is a hotel.
Governor Youngkin is donating his first week salary,
First quarter
first quarter salary to
of 2023.
to Prince William County Adult Detention Center. Governor Youngkin, we're here in front of the Department of Justice.
We hate
We're
to burst
here.
your bubble.
We hate to burst your bubble, sir. We're in front of the FBI, and we have body cams that are sealed by Judge Weimer to protect a prosecutor, to protect a police department, to protect a jail that's abusing individuals in our community. And we're demanding, we have a complaint with the Department of Justice, and we're asking the Department of Justice to look into every police report, to look into every body cam, that you have every police report is falsified. How are you supposed to take Mustafa into court with police reports that are falsified? We're demanding that these police reports are looked at, these body cams are looked at, and accountability. We're demanding accountability here. And we're not asking them, we're not telling them, oh, go ahead and investigate. We think something happened. No, we have the body cam where we have proof that it happened. It's on body cam, it's on police report, everything is falsified. You've manufactured probable cause. You have witnesses that lied about Mustafa. And you want to walk my brother into court with everything falsified? We're asking the FBI and the department to do their job.
And then you have these videos. You have these videos of Tatiana
They
David.
trespass us. They trespass us from the court. They trespass the whole family.
So what do they do when you come out of court and you what do they do when you come out of a court and you go on TikTok or you go on YouTube and you make a
I mean,
video?
I got arrested for telling Amy Ashworth, you're on a jail board. Your job is to protect inmates. You've got 7 inmates unalived inside your jail. You're a jail board member. The minute I said that, Sheriff Glenn Hill came out and arrested me. What are we doing here? Sheriff Glenn Hill, what are you doing, sir? I mean, why? I was on public property. According to you and your deposition, you said I'm not disorderly. I was on public property. I mean, I've got the deposition. Sheriff Glenn says I'm not disorderly. I was on public property, and he didn't even know why I got arrested. Wait a minute. I've got a video of you saying, arrest him, he's being disorderly. I'm on public property. The minute you call these officials out for unaliving individuals in our county, they're gonna arrest you. I got arrested. You got trespassed. Why? For taking notes in court?
For taking notes in court. They want to accuse me of recording. How can I record if you have 2 metal detectors? Okay, you have 10 deputies at every station, and they search you head to toe. Okay, because I brought in an item that the lawyer told me to bring in. Told me to bring in a dash cam that was being used as evidence. They take the camera, they run it through their x-ray machine, and they physically hand it to me in the courtroom, and then only to tell me 2 weeks later that you brought in an unauthorized item. Well, why did your deputies allow this item to come into the courtroom? It's not like I snuck it in. It would be one thing if I snuck it in. But if your deputies on camera gave it to me, physically handed this item to me in court after asking what it is, and I told them, this is evidence being used in my brother's motion to dismiss. And they said, okay, here you go. 2 weeks later, they want to trespass me and they want to claim that I brought this item unauthorized. I mean, it's BS. You know, again, if you're going to come up with something, make it believable. At least make it believable.
And Mohammed, on that note, we're going to end the podcast.
And we're going to take a break.
We're going to take a break.
When we come back, we're going to talk about Tatiana Davids and how Prince William County Police and Virginia State Police took the life of this African-American woman who was a service member, and how they lied about it to the community. And they've got Amy Ashworth and Chief Newsham, who like to seal off a lot of things, you know, especially when it gets them in hot waters. They like to just seal it off and hope that the community just forgets. Okay? Well, we're here to tell you that for the past 20 months, you've been torturing us, and we never forget. And we're here to hold you accountable, and we're going to make sure that this Justice Department does its job and bring you into federal court. Because what you're trying to hide is a murder that took place on video by officers, and your attempt to conceal it is just as bad as committing it.
And this is not us making a claim. No, we literally have the body cams of.
And you can't say
committing this on body cam. You can't say it's my word against their word. I've got it on body cam.
You can't say this is Mustafa, this is your brother, your advocate. No, you took the life of this woman, and you lied about it. Okay,
it's on body cam.
Had this been a white woman, I guarantee you the outcome would have been much different. But we know what they like to do in Prince William County.
On that note, we're gonna take a break.
We know what they like to do, and it's on video.
Exactly. On that note, we're gonna take a break. This podcast is called Not Another Boring Podcast. Mustafa Al-Jazari through the police body cam conversation with Judge Weimer. We'll be back. We're gonna take 10 minutes. We'll be back.
Oh, Gary's here. Let me hello, Gary. How are you? When is his court date? He's got court tomorrow. Tomorrow he has court? Any questions?
How you doing?
Oh, good, man. How you doing, Gary? We're doing all right.
I'm just sitting here checking you guys out. You know Mustafa's coming up out of there before trial, right? I hope so anyway.
Yes, sir. I know God's with us, you know, and if it wasn't for, you know, our faith in God, I mean, we wouldn't be here. And knowing what we know today, it's unbelievable. The amount of lies, the amount of misconduct that these officers are getting away with, the amount of misconduct that, I mean, it's not even misconduct, it's really crimes by this police department. And they think they can just seal it off, write it off. It just shows you how long, you know, it shows you how complicit they are, and I'm sure they've been doing it for years and years and years. But, you know, at some point, the truth has to come to light. And these people, I'm sure they've committed crimes in people's names for years. And, you know, now they're going to be held accountable for it. Because they can no longer hide behind a court seal, or they think somebody's going to cover up for them. You know, clearly a woman was murdered that night, and they tried to cover it up. I mean, you know, Mustafa has a court date. This woman does not have a court date. She doesn't have a trial. It's been 20 months, and you don't hear her name not once in the media. They've put out this lie. They claim like they're investigating. You know, when I was talking to the when I was talking to individuals that work for the federal government, they were telling me that if this video is under seal, we can't watch it. There's nothing we can do about it. So it's up to us to make these videos third party so that the federal government can watch it. And that's, you know, that's what we have to do. And that's what we did. So now that they're third party, these agents looked at these videos, and somebody's going to get held accountable. Whoever was there that night, they can't just seal it off and write it off. They can't. They just can't do it.
So what's taking these agents so long to come in there and get him up out of that jail, Muhammad?
You know, I'll tell you, this Prince William County has a strong bubble. I mean, to think that I mean, you look at the directors for some of these agencies. Some of them have been Prince William County cops for 17 years, 20 years, 25 years, and then they become directors of these organizations. You know, I mean, what we're talking about is no longer just what we think happened. It's on video. I mean, I don't really have to sit here and say anything. Everything is on the internet. All these body cams, they're on the internet. And it looks like it's going to take us, you know, sitting out here and telling them, this is what the prosecutor said, this is what the officer said in court, and this is what he said on body cam. This is what he put in his report, and he said the complete opposite on his body cam. They've tampered with witnesses. They've tampered with evidence. You know, I mean, it defies logic how they're expecting this case to go to trial